In this tutorial, we will go into project worksheets and look at some unique features found in each project. First, we will go into Miscellaneous 1. This is for any custom job you might have. To help you, there is already a started list of common materials such as 2x lumber and plywood. Select the yellow boxes and change the size of lumber. So we want 2x6 and the length to 10 feet. We can also change regular or treated lumber. Enter an amount, make 10 sticks. In the blank boxes, we can enter any other materials you might need, such as nails. We'll do one box, $40. We go to the right, we can also see labor estimate and job stages. Let's say in this job you need to remove wall, linear feet, 20 linear feet, $10 per linear foot. Build wall, linear feet, 50 feet, $15. After you have completed entering your materials, entering your labor, let's scroll to the bottom. At the bottom are all the totals for the materials, your labor, and adding all the mileage and everything together, there's your total. If we go back to the home page and we go into Miscellaneous 2, you will find a similar setup but without the started list of materials we found in Miscellaneous 1. Next, we'll go to the ground prep worksheet. In the ground prep worksheet, we will first enter the width and length of the area we are working with, 30 by 30. And then we'll change how many inches of ground we wish to remove, 8 inches of topsoil. And then you will notice 5 different types of materials you can add to build up the job site. We wish to add pit run 10 inches, crushed gravel 2 inches, and sand 2 inches. Just enter the amount of inches you wish to add to each type of fill, and the computer will calculate the totals here at the bottom. Pit run 28 cubic yards, $10 a yard, $278. On the right, the labor estimate, 22 cubic yards to remove, 39 yards to fill. Of course, you can change these prices as well. And if we scroll a little further down, we can see all the totals for materials, labor, and of course a total of the mileage and equipment and everything else. Scroll to the top. Let's go back to the home page. In the concrete footings estimate, we see the footing sizes on the left here and the size for the stem wall on the right. Simply change those measurements to what your estimate is, and choose whether you wish to have ICFs on this project, yes or no. And then of course, again, just look at your default calculations, change your labor prices, and then it's set up very similar to also the concrete slab estimate. Let's go take a look at that. We go into the concrete slab estimate. This is a simple concrete slab with a thickened edge. So the slab thickness, we wish to have 6 inches of concrete. You can select if you want to drain, floor heat. And on the right here, we can see how many, if you want an extra yard added, when it figures out for the thickened edge and the cubic yards for the slab itself, and the amount of rebar. And of course, all these numbers are adjustable. And let's say you do not want the thickened edge on this pad. It's a sidewalk, let's say. It's just a long sidewalk let's change the numbers. It's 4 feet wide by 20 feet long, and you do not wish to have a thickened edge. Let's go to the right again. So on the rebar section, see here it says rebar for thickened edge is 8, and extra rebar simply do -8. It will not figure in any rebar. And the thickened edge, well, we just change that to 0 because we do not wish to have a thickened edge. So therefore, with this pad, we just eliminated the thickened edge. Let's go back to the home page. Next, let's visit the wall framing worksheet. And if you have 3 different wall sizes you need to frame, here's wall number 1, wall number 2, wall number 3. And if you wish to change it to 50 linear feet for a wall size number 1, you can change the width, the height of the wall. If you want insulation, yes or no, plywood, yes or no on this wall. And for wall number 1, all these measurements are right here. As you can see, it's black, and these letters and numbers are all black. And the same thing with wall number 2. All the measurements and what you need, the material list is here in a bluish color, turquoise, and wall number 3. And of course, each one of these wall sections, framing walls, section number 1 has its own. You can select if you want a green treated sill plate, board lengths you wish to use, and you have each one of these size number 2 and number 3. As we previously mentioned, there are similar designs between certain worksheets. The siding, shingling, and metal roof worksheets all have an extra section within the worksheet that would help calculate the square footage. The siding worksheet, you can scroll a little bit to the right, we have this section here, and it's a calculator to help you figure out the square footage of each wall section or each section of wall. And you can select that the shape of that section of wall is either a square rectangle, a triangle, or trapezoid. Square rectangle, it's 24 by 24. A triangle, the height and the base. Or if you already have the square footage, you can simply punch in the square footage for that job and delete all the rest. And the computer will just keep on figuring out the square footage. And the siding estimate, you can also choose if you want to do a vinyl siding, metal, fiber cement, or clapboard. And this is all siding that is put on the wall horizontally. If we go back and we look at the shingle estimate, we find a similar calculator to figure out the square footage of roof. And again, we can see we have a triangle, trapezoid, a square rectangle, and each section of roof. Trapezoid 8, the top base is 15, bottom base 24. And again, if you already have the square footage, you can just make these into zeros and 2,500 square foot roof. Let's go back to the home page and visit the metal roof worksheet. In the metal roof worksheet, if we scroll to the right, you will find a calculator similar to the shingling worksheet we just saw. The two main differences is there isn't a trapezoid, there's only a square, rectangle, or a triangle. And also when entering the measurements, like for the height, because it's more exact when ordering metal sheets, that's 142 inches. And for the width, you can enter in 19 feet. Now you can also do a combination of 10 feet 6 inches or simply do inches for the width. You can use any combination you wish and it'll figure out the square footage for you. Now if we scroll to the left and look at the material list, we can do a simple square foot estimate if when selecting this as yes, it takes the amount of square footage times 90 cents a square foot. But we can also choose no and figure out each individual sheet. Let's say it's 142 inches long and there's 10 sheets. You have another sheet, 62 and a half, and you have 20 sheets of those. or just keep on going as many sheets as you have, and the computer will total the price per sheet. Of course, you have to enter this as inches, how many inches for each sheet. We scroll to the top, we can make other selections, such as hidden fasteners. If we select yes, this will change the price for per square footage. Now to finish off this tutorial, let's just visit 2 more worksheets, and we will look at the painting and the flooring worksheets. If we enter the painting worksheet, again it has a calculator on the side to help you figure out for each room. Let's say the room, you can, of course you can always change the height of the walls. You can change the width of the room. It's a 20 by 20 room. And once you have your measurements entered for each room, the computer has the square footage totaled has a ceiling and then the total. We go back to the left and then we simply select for primer. Let's say you want to put on primer and how many coats. Here's a number of coats. If we want to spray on 2 coats of primer and 2 coats of paint, the computer will do the math for you, figure out how many gallons of primer or paint you need. Or if you wish to do this job by hand, of course you can always do it a roller or by hand. Let's say you want 2 coats, we're doing it with a roller. Or if you just want to do 3 coats of primer paint, and you will put this on the hand. Anyways, you can see you can do whatever options you want. Of course, you also have to look at the ceiling. This was just for the walls. Ceiling also, this we're going to spray. Well, of course, we don't want 25 coats. I meant to put in 2. So as you can see, for each, for the primer on walls or primer on ceiling, how many coats, and you get to decide for each coat if it's going to be sprayed on or rolled on. Now let's look at the flooring worksheet, and again it has the width and length of each room, but here you can also select what type of flooring. Say carpet in this room. Let's say this room is 14 by 15 and we want let's do laminate. So as you keep on going, you can just select each room, what type of flooring, and the width and the length, and it'll figure out the square footage for labor and the square footage for materials. So as we go back to the home page, this concludes the tutorial. To learn more, visit www.basicestimator.com. Thank you for watching.